I had a rough one the other day. I got beaten by a troll, and it left me harmed physically and emotionally. So I needed something to make me relax. So I went to see The Wild Robot. No, you weirdos, it's not anything adult. The Wild Robot is based off a few kids' books. I didn't expect much, but I dived into it, and I was surprised.
Sweet things are made by me. Talking about movies constantly. Watching films on any screen. Everybody's watching something. It's an orcish review.
I'll be honest with you, I love myself a good animated film. It's relaxing and just takes you away from the world. But recently, that has not been the case, especially when it comes to Disney and some of their terrible projects. But lucky for us, this is a DreamWorks film, and this makes me very excited. Now I'm about to get into some spoilers, unless you want to be eaten alive by all the dirty details of this wild flick. I suggest you jump to this time code. The Wild Robot is not exactly a complicated film, but there's plenty of details that push the story forward and make it quite enjoyable and mostly believable. Let's face it, it is a kid's film. The Wild Robot combines a few elements that make this flick a unique: survival, death, love, companionship, and a combination of cute little animals and a big shiny robot. The film actually takes place, I'm assuming, in the future, and the robot is somehow lost at sea. All the other robots are destroyed except this one, which wakes up and starts trying to advertise for its service to complete a task. Of course, this annoys all the animals. She eventually learns their skills, imitates them, and eventually learns their language. And still, she aggravates them. And when they don't give her what she wants, a task to complete, she attempts to contact home base, but fails when she's struck by lightning, attacked by a lot of raccoons, which is freaking hilarious, attacked by a bear, and then eventually lands on a nest full of geese, killing them all, and there's only one egg left. And then she has to fight off a stupid fox that tries to eat it. I love a good fox. And then we get this awesome little scene of horribleness.
I see your problem.
The goose eventually hatches from the egg, and the first thing it does is imprint on Roz the robot. Yeah, that's the name of the robot, by the way. And it cuddles with her and breaks the signaling device that would allow it to contact home base. That'd be my luck. And the robot tries to pawn off the baby goose onto some possums. It doesn't work, and scares the possums half to death. They even try to play dead, with the babies not quite mastering that skill. So Mama Possum explains to the robot that it's her task, which is basically the magic word to make the robot do whatever needs to be done. And during this time, she has three rules how to complete this task. Make sure it lives, feed it, teach it how to swim, then fly before fall. And this is the entire premise of the film. We see the robot bonding with this little goose as it gets bigger and bigger. And, of course, the fox helps the robot along the way, taking advantage that it knows it can convince it to do anything. More precisely, get itself some food. And there's the dark humor throughout is quite believable because this is how the animals think. The fox will eat about anything that it can get its hand on, and the only reason it doesn't is because the robot's there. But they bond as a family, and the robot changes its programming to be able to complete its task. And eventually the little goose runs into the other geese, which are bigger and better. Why? Because the little guy's a runt, and he probably wouldn't have survived if it weren't for the robot. He's rejected by the other geese, and they reveal that the monster, aka Ross the robot, is the one that killed his family. And Brightbill, by the way, the little goose is named Brightbill, is heartbroken because of this, and rejects the robot. So Ross walks away and finds the remains or the graveyard of the other robots that was in the ship that crashed on this little location. And eventually even wakes one up. It explains that everything we already basically know about the robot, how it's changing its programming to be able to finish the task. So it gives Ross the device that allows it to contact home base. But it's sized to finish its tasks, also with the help of the convincing from the fox, that they need to still teach Brightbill how to fly so it can survive. And it comes up with some creative ideas. It actually gets this falcon-like creature. I cannot remember what it was called, thanks to my stupid orc brain. But it's a pretty cool moment, and the character is pretty darn cool. And this elder goose compliments them, saying they're a naturally suspicious species, and they're impressed how Brightbill is coming along, that he can fly with them when fall comes, but they have to constantly train him. And I like this message. It says never to give up, even if everything's against you. I mean, this goes against the law of the message of Hollywood that everything should be given to you for free, or with no work. But the message of keep working for your goal is awesome and nice. Eventually, Brightbill achieves his task, and they fly off, and this is actually a good moment for me. It's pretty touching. Feeling something that she never felt before, Ross runs to an edge of a cliff and holds out her hand, as if a mother seeing her child go. And it's very awesome. She considers putting the signal so she can go back to home base, but she says not to because she wants to stay and wait for Brightbill, see if he makes it, see if he accomplishes his goal in survival. And of course the geese, we see a little bit of them traveling, and they're forced to land during a storm. And they run into Roz's civilization, even mistaking one of the robots for Roz herself. And they attack the geese. And thanks for Brightbill knowing these robots, is able to lead the entire flock out. But sadly, the elder goose sacrifices himself against these war machines, and it's touching. Time passes by, we see everything going by, and it becomes winter, and there's a horrible storm. So bad that even in the dens of all these animals, they're in danger. Ross rounds up all these animals with the help of the fox and brings them to this huge den/nest that the robot made earlier for her family. And the fox convinces them they need a truce right there. And if the entire time that Ross has been there, they have harmed her, hurt her, and basically, it's a pretty cool speech that I cannot repeat. She eventually powers down until summer, and the goose arrives, and she witnesses them. She's happy to see them until she sees a dropship. She approaches this, and this very obvious floating robot that's a villain, and obviously a villain, says they're there to take her back. She somewhat attempts to go until the fox hollers at her. She leaves to go talk to Bright Bill, and the robots are released from the dropship, and they wreak havoc on the island. And of course, this is honestly pretty awesome. This appeases my violent side, and also shiny fight scenes and all that crap. The animals tear the robot apart, and then the robots blow up, burning most of the forest. And Ross is taken into the ship. And thanks to the beaver who was trying to cut down the biggest tree, all the animals kiss up to him because they made fun of him before. And they push this massive tree into the river to put all the fire out. And the geese, thanks to Bright Bill, leading them and attacking the ship. I don't know why they're all attacking him. I assume only Bright Bill would have motivation. The geese weren't there on the island during winter. Attack the ship, and eventually Bright Bill injures himself, flying into the glass, and makes his way to Ross. And it seems that all her memories have been drained, and it looks like she's dead. But something inside allows her to still hear Bright Bill. She wakes up, kills the villain robot, and after they escape, and she realizes that they're going to come back no matter what, decides to leave still because she wants to protect all the animals, the entire animal kingdom, or whatever you call it. And she leaves happy, knowing that her son, Bright Bill, will survive, and all the animals will be better off because they're now
united,
or joined together in harmony, or at least until they rise up and take on humanity. So she leaves with another dropship showing up, and the final scene shows Bright Bill and the civilization of the humans walks up to a robot that is Roz, and it's revealed that she still remembers everything, picks him up, and cuddles him. At least I hope. And then it goes away, and I'm hoping she didn't kill him off screen. The Wild Robot is a very fun ride. I mean, if you love shiny robots and cute little animals, this is the film for you. It also has nice dark humor that makes you think about how animals' personalities are. And not to mention, it does have an intelligence to it about survival and sacrifice and love and companionship. It doesn't shy away from things that in some of our older cartoons used to have. It's nice that it's not dumbed down for the children or for the adults that are watching it with them. Or me when I just get bored and need a feel-good movie. I highly recommend this film. And not to mention, there's plenty of not necessarily fight scenes, but it kind of gives you an underdog story. You got a robot that's out of place, a goose, sorry, I guess that's species insensitivity or something. A goose that's a runt, that's just trying to survive and become what it needs to be. The story also encourages the message of working for your goal, that there's consequences no matter what. And even when those consequences hit you right in the face, you need to keep moving forward. And you need to better yourself, even if other people say it's not going to happen. And the humor in this with every animal, like the possum, the fox, the falcon, all these creatures, makes it a nice, enjoyable film that you can just watch for a feel-good moment. Now, I need to plan my revenge against that troll. So, if you guys like my video, like and subscribe. And if you know that troll, be warned, he doesn't play fair. Have a good one, folks.